Hey guys, getting ready to put these gardens to bed for the winter. I need to get some lime put on there and some type of cover crop. I'm going to go with wheat. But real quick, I want you to take a look at this garden right here. This is where I had the corn, cucumber, squash all tilled in. And just look at the soil right here. It looks kind of poor. It's not as bad as what you would think though. It's a whole lot better than it was 3 years ago. What I want to do now is show you the difference between this one and the garden right over to the other side of it. This over here is where I have my tomatoes at this year, and I'm going to show you what's going on over there. Totally different looking soil now. You see a difference in this ground? This is a lot darker, richer soil. What it is, it had a lot of goat manure put on this. I put probably close to 25 yards of goat manure on this garden right here, and it's going to make a big difference come next year. By the time this stuff gets worked in through the winter, we'll be ready to rock and roll come next spring. This is the lime that I'm going to use right here, the dolomitic pelleted lime. It'll be a little bit easier to spread as opposed to the powdered stuff, and this will give me my calcium and magnesium to put back in the soil. When it comes to how much lime to put on your garden, the simplest thing to do, I think, is do a soil test whenever you're in doubt. That would always be the preferred recommendation. That way you don't totally screw it up. But what I'm going to do is put the minimum amount on there based on what's on the bag, 23 pounds per 1,000 square foot. Most of my gardens are a little over 5,000 square foot, which will give me about 2.5 of these 40-pound bags per garden. And the reason you put your lime on there in the fall as opposed to in the spring, it takes a while for your lime to break down and get into a condition where the plants can actually use it. So if you put it on there in the fall, come springtime, when you get ready to plant, your soil will be in a lot better shape, and your calcium and magnesium be sitting there waiting on the plants. When it comes to cover crops, a lot of people would just plant a cover crop of rye. Some people use a buckwheat. You can use clover. You can use radishes, and great big radishes. They help break up the soil. I think the folks farther north use those. A lot of things you can do. I'm just going to go put wheat down. And this is what it looks like about 2.5 weeks later. My wheat came up pretty good. I have mentioned prepperbroadcasting.com a few times in the past, and the lady, Bear Prepper from down in Texas, she has a show the first and third Tuesday of each month, 9 o'clock Eastern time, and she's invited me back as a guest. I'll be on there Tuesday, October 16th, to be just a couple of days from now, 9 o'clock, and this is what we're going to talk about: the cover crops, different options that you have, also what to plant, what to do with your raised beds, whatever you have gardening, how to get this stuff situated going into the winter so that come springtime you're just chomping at the bit and ready to go, and you don't walk out there and walk into a situation where you just say, man, that's some crappy looking ground right there. I wish I had done something about it. So if you got some interest in cover crops and things like that, tune in Tuesday night at 9 o'clock, prepperbroadcasting.com. And we'll go over a lot of this stuff and any other gardening questions as well that might pop up during that time. And on the downside of this garden right here, the lower side, this is where I got them volunteer purple hull peas at. I think I need to do a little bit of picking right here. See if I can get us enough for at least a couple of meals anyway. Well, I didn't get quite a 5-gallon bucket, but that'll be plenty for me to sit down and shell tonight while I'm watching the football games. Try to keep me busy for a little bit. And the good thing about it, this cost me absolutely nothing. But the only thing I did, this is where I had my spring crop at. I finished picking, took the mower, mowed them down, disced them in real good, and let it go. Good Lord done the rest of it. We're getting down into the low 40s at night now, and these things are about to shut down. Got a few more warm days coming up, so I might be able to get one more picking off of them if I get lucky. Now I want to take care of a few of my raised beds. So what I'm going to do is haul this goat manure around the side there and unload that into the beds. First thing I got to do is get the truck hooked up to it. What I'm going to do right here is show you how to take this truck, back it up to this trailer right here, and on the very first try, get it lined up just right where you don't have to get back up in the cab and hook this thing up. Looks like I missed it a little bit, doesn't it? Nothing to it. I cheated, didn't I? This is my old mobile home truck. Got a 6-way hitch on it, allows you to go up and down, right, left, and in and out. Really comes in handy when you're trying to set up a mobile home and you're trying to get it within a 1/4 inch or so of where it needs to be. All right, real quick, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take these 2 beds right here, sprinkle a little bit of wood ash on them, put some of this goat manure on it, and then put some grass clippings on top. And that ought to take it through and be ready by next spring. But before I get this one done, I need to dig up these sweet potatoes. These are them Beauregards that I'm still working sent to me. Looks like they made pretty good. Now you can see how they pretty much healed up themselves. This was flat and they have built these mounds right here where the potatoes grew. Great day in the morning. Now that's what you call some sweet potatoes, son. And this was the one seed potato right here in the middle. That's what they all came from. These are the ones that she had sent me in the mail. It took 12 days to go 120 miles via snail mail. And several of the slips, most of the slips were no good, but she had a few sweet potatoes, whole potatoes inside the box, and I planted them, and you can see what they have done. This was just one of them right here. Great day. That Beauregard is something else. Look at the size of those taters. Wow. Ah, boy. You look at the size of those things. Now she said this was a great storage potato, kept for about 2 years in a garage. So if I can figure out a way to save these things for next year, I most definitely want to plant some Beauregards. Let's try this one more time. Don't break my shovel. Man, all this, one sweet potato grew all of these right here. If you've never grown Beauregard before, there was the seed potato right here. That one grew all of these others. That's a heck of a return. So that's something to keep in mind maybe for next year when I get ready to plant sweet potatoes. Maybe instead of trying to do so many slips, I might want to put a few whole potatoes in the ground because they seem to produce a whole lot better. Now back to the beds. I got the sweet potatoes out of the way. All I'm going to do is just take this goat manure right here off the trailer and load each one of the beds up with it. What I got right here is some wood ash. It's been in a bag, been rained on a little bit, so it's not real dry, dusty, powdery. And this is a good way to remineralize the soil. It'll do kind of like the same thing as lime will. To raise your pH, so you don't want to go crazy with it, but you put it on here in the fall and give it time to get worked in, and you don't have to worry about so much of a disruption. A lot better to do this stuff in the fall as opposed to coming back in the springtime and trying to put it around put it in the soil just prior to planting. And the last thing I'm going to do is just come in here and put some of these grass clippings on top. Kind of put a blanket on it for the winter. Now when it comes to cover crops and putting your gardens to bed for winter, there's a lot of different ways to do this. This is just how I'm doing it. I've got a ton of grass clippings right now, so I can use them. I've got plenty of goat manure, so I can use that. If you have composted leaves or big piles of leaves, you can run over with the lawnmower and mulch them up a little bit, put them on your beds, put them on your garden. I would recommend make sure you chop those leaves up. Don't do like I did a couple years ago. I dumped about 12 bags of leaves on my garden on the other side, and the next day we had a cold front come through with the wind in front of it and blew them all away. So if you have any suggestions, methods that you have that are working that you would like to share with other people, and let me know what you're doing. I still have a lot to learn as far as gardening goes. So many different methods that I don't know about, so I'd appreciate it if you'd share the knowledge. It'd help me out quite a bit, and I'm sure it would help other people too. So y'all take care, and Lord willing, I'll see you next time.